What's going on, everybody? Well, I haven't made a sourcing video in a while because I bought so much stuff lately. I'm just like, I need to get caught up. So I've been taking pictures and listing and stuff. If you watched some of my videos and that, you saw the big haul of all those CDs. That was the last one. I ended up getting, what did I end up getting that day? I ended up spending $430 that day total on all those CDs. Plus I bought a bunch of clothes that day and shoes. Ended up buying 1,308 items. So it averaged out to 33 cents a piece. So that was kind of cool. Some of the CDs I put up were $100 CDs. So there's a lot of collectible stuff in there. Still haven't got it all up. Still got a big chunk over here waiting to go up. I put up the easy stuff. But I figured, yeah, I have, see so many people, asking questions or, I don't know, just kind of lost or what have you when it comes to selling on eBay. Not everybody, but a lot of people just seem so, I guess you could say, how can I say it? So if they don't have nothing selling the day, they get upset, but yet they only have a few hundred items up or whatever like that. So what are they barking at? So I figured I'm going to start maybe a series of videos and just show you or tell you how I do things, how I, from A to B, from sourcing to shipping, and to give you everything in between that I can think of. You know me, I don't like to kind of structure myself, so this may be all over the place. I don't know, I did make a few notes for this first video, and the first video is going to be about sourcing, about product. I was going to try to work while I do this, but that ain't going to happen, because obviously I'm doing a lot of thinking as I'm talking. So if you want to sell on eBay full time, and so a lot of this I may have said in some of my other videos, but I'm also going to give you stuff that I've never shared with really anybody before that could help you make more sales or, generate more traffic to your store, whatever the case may be. First off, I think you want to, as I said before, start with something you know or something you love. No matter what that is, you have to start there. Because as I said before, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, it's going to feel like work or you're not going to be motivated to do it. So you got to find that motivation, and a good way to do that is start with something you enjoy doing, start with something you love. Whether that's, costume jewelry to, vintage clothing, to whatever the case may be. Find something you love, start there, build off of that. But always keep a door open, keep your mind open to other avenues, other things you can look at and look into along the way. Like, say, vintage concert t-shirts are big these days, but a lot of people don't even know the bands of the shirts they're wearing. So you can always look for other things beyond that that's kind of maybe related, whether it's their albums, their CDs, their cassettes, concert ticket stubs, memorabilia. There's tons of that out there, especially bands like, Kiss and Motley Crue and some of those bigger bands who merchandised their name for a lot of different things. So even if you go in one particular area, keep your eyes open for other things, branch out for other things. And sometimes that's hard to do because even someone like me who's been doing this for 18 years, I still literally have to, circle a thrift store 3 or 4 times. And chances are I'm still going to miss something just because I get sensory overload a lot. So I can get overwhelmed real easily. So I always try to break things down so I don't get overwhelmed. Uh, and it does cause me to miss things. So like if you see some of my videos where I'm out in the store, and if you see something like on the one, I always go after shoes, but yet that LeBron pair of shoes was sitting on that corner the whole time. I'm standing right next to it. It's literally 3 feet, if not closer, right in front of my face, and I don't see it. But I'm picking all these other shoes around it. And I literally, 15 minutes into the store, I finally saw them. And that's just how my headspace works. So I understand how hard it is for some people to, if you're concentrating on one thing, to keep an open mind for others. But you have to do that. Even if you you have to create a system that works for you. Like me, I know I have to circle the store 3 or 4 times to feel comfortable that I've pretty much seen everything. So you have to find what works for you. When it comes to all of this stuff, you have to find what works for you, and you have to stay on it. You have to be thorough. You have to work hard, and you just have to go, go, go. If you're wanting to do it full time, my first suggestion would be, after you start with the things you love, to get the hang of it, what shipping may be, how to ship items, after you get the flow and the hang of everything, how eBay works, how shipping works, what you're going to use. If you're going to use, I use stamps.com for a majority of my stuff, but now also Pirate Ship has come along, and they have cheaper international shipping. So I still use stamps.com on everything else because it's quick and convenient when it comes to printing labels. It pulls the information over, it prints it without very many steps. Whereas Pirate Ship, you have to go through a few steps to print out the label, where on stamps.com, it's, just a click pretty much. So I use both stamps.com and Pirate Ship for shipping out. And here I am jumping all over. What Pirate Ship has done has allowed me to go in and lower my shipping fees, or my shipping costs. Whereas before I had to charge, $15.99 to send, a hat overseas, where now I dropped that by $5. $5 is huge when it comes to sending a hat overseas. To getting more customers, it's huge. So Pirate Ship has done a whole lot for me, but it's not convenient enough for me to do all my shipping there because there's too many steps involved. And I'm the type of person that has to cut everything every second I can down, because I'm basically one man show, except for my son who does the shipping. So, but most of these years, 18 years, most of them I've been doing everything myself. So I got real good at cutting a second here, a second there, which, freed up a lot more time, made me able to list a lot more, whatever the case may be. So jump backwards. After you start and you get the hang of it all, what you need to do is if you want to do it full time, find a foundation. A lot of people just want to go for high dollar items. And, that's fine if it fits into your mold, but it's not really the way to go to build a business. Because what's going to happen, there's so much competition out there for, vintage clothing, say, that you're going to be spending a lot of time sourcing and a lot less time selling. You want to find the foundation has to be something where you spend minimal time sourcing it and you spend a majority of your time selling it. That includes listing it, sharing it on social media, and getting it sold and shipped. So you got to find that foundation thing. For most of the years, I used, as I've said before, music. So CDs were my foundation. CDs were an item I knew I could go out and I could literally buy by the truckload. Whether it's 3,000 or 30,000, I knew at any given time I could go pick CDs up anywhere, get them cheap, because at the time, I'm paying 10 cents a piece for them on the low end, quarter on the high end. And it was something that I use as my foundation. It was something that constantly sells all day, every day, and it's going to bring me that set amount income in. Now, what I'm doing nowadays, now that CDs has pretty much dropped in sales, I'm using t-shirts and hats. So t-shirts and hats are my foundations today, not just vintage tees, just tees across the board, hats across the board. It's something that I can go out and get literally a truckload every day if I need to, and I can do it quick. I could go into a Goodwill for 2 hours, literally fill up my truck, and spend the next 14 hours listing that product. And it wouldn't take me that long, but you know what I mean, doing other things, running your business. So you're not spending very much time on sourcing. So you got to find that foundation product that you can get tons of, you can get it cheap, you can get it quick, and you build off of that. The good thing about doing that is you're going to get the collectible stuff mixed in with it. If I go out, say to the Goodwill bins for 2 hours and I buy, 200 t-shirts, there's going to be a couple of vintage pieces in there that's probably going to pay for everything. So that's another thing you want to really look out for when you're finding your foundation item, is find something that does have a hint of collectability in there. Say it's costume jewelry. I personally don't know nothing about costume jewelry, but I've always kind of wanted to get into it because you see bags and bags of it at thrift stores. And I've seen people where they've bought bags and pulled out, whether it was a gold ring or a gold, bracelet or what have you. So there are hints of collectability or value within that bubble. So find something like that and concentrate on it to build your foundation. Really get into it. And I'm not talking, a couple of hundred. I'm talking a few thousand, whether if it's, say it's costume jewelry. Like I said, I don't know nothing about it. But if you pick up a bag of 100 pieces, but you can buy, 200 bags over time of 100 pieces, get it all listed, get it all out there, get it in your store, build that customer base who's going to say, this place has costume jewelry, I'm gonna go see what they have. So that's what I've kind of done with t-shirts. But then you can break it down into subcategories like I have with t-shirts and hats. With t-shirts, I have my transportation t-shirts, I have my travel t-shirts. Transportation t-shirts, Harley, Ford, GM, Chevy, Corvettes, anything that has anything to do with transportation. Then I have the, I just said it, where was I going? The travel. The travel is the souvenir style, Dustin, Florida, Panama Beach, whatever the case may be. Then I have sports shirts. So then I have my sports. I have, Nike shirts and Reeboks. And I have, whether it's the Cardinals or the Blues or teams, anything to do sports related is in there. And then I also have like music t-shirts. That'll be your concert t-shirts, your hard rock t-shirts, things like that. And then I also have like TV shows and movies and TV shows. So if you have a movie shirt or a TV show, something that separate that advertises for that, that will go in that category. So those are my subcategories for my t-shirt line. So then you can break it down, and if you break it down and watch it, you'll know what types of stuff sell better for you. If you make a category in your store for each one of those categories, you can look every month and go, okay, in November, in October, how many of my band t-shirts did I sell? How many of my travel t-shirts did I sell? How many of my transportation t-shirts did I sell? So if you have to, you can narrow your search down. If you're like, you know what, travel t-shirts are really not working out for me, I'm not selling as many, I'm going to eliminate travel t-shirts from my, what I'm going to pick up, and then just go after the other the more important categories that produce for you. So that's what I would suggest when it comes to building a foundation, because you don't have to. I think the key to the foundation piece, not only is it something that you can get abundant of, but like I've said, it's got to be something that has the collectible hint in there, that the monetary value. Every once in a while, you're going to get a pop. But you also have to get it cheap. It has to be something you can get in bulk, you can get cheap, because you don't want to tie up so much money in your foundation. You want to use that money to build your store. You want to use it to build a brand. So you got to get the foundation cheap. For me, like I said, when I get mine at the Goodwill bins. I could fill up, a cart in an hour. It costs me about 40 cents a shirt. So I can go and, have no issues picking up 100 t-shirts and not worrying about if any's going to sell immediately. But, some usually do. So another key thing is to always try to make back your money quick. If you go and say you spend $100 for t-shirts. That's all you bought. Sorry, I just ate lunch. Say you bought $100 worth of t-shirts. What you want to do is try to get that $100 back as quick as possible. Don't be afraid. Say there's a collectible t-shirt in there. Say there's a rare concert t-shirt in there that people are clearly selling for $200. Don't be afraid to sell that shirt for $100 if you can turn it in a day and get your entire $100 back. You don't need to hold out for that $200, because you're going to do more harm to you keeping that than you would selling it. Because once you sell that $100 shirt, everything you're sitting on, those other 99 shirts, are free. That's all profit. That profit's going to pay for your store fees. That profit's going to pay for everything that's going to build up around your foundation, your listing fees, if it sits in there for a month, that's 5 cents. So you don't have to worry about, hey, I can't renew these next month because it costs me too much money to renew 100 t-shirts at 5 cents a piece. It's just a waste of money. Well, if it's free, if that product you're sitting on is free, it's not going to hurt you. You see what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to move something quick to get your money back ASAP, so then you can build bigger. Because the point is to just keep building and building. You don't want to sit stagnant. You want to list things every day. You want to find things every day. Who doesn't want to go thrifting every day and find stuff? I mean, hello? I would love to. I haven't been out of the house in like 4 days. Yeah, literally, I have not left my house except walking in my backyard cleaning my pool. I have not left the house in 4 days because I've been busting my butt listing. It sucks, but that's where you find your motivation. When you get into the parts of the video here where I'm jumping ahead again, where you've got to find motivation for yourself. Nobody likes listing. It can get repetitive and get like, oh, I gotta do that. But that's when you got to find the motivation to get through that, because everybody wants to be out thrifting. Everybody wants to be selling, but nobody wants to be listing. Nobody wants to be shipping. So that's when you've got to dig deep and find that motivation. I haven't left the house in 4 days, but hey, I'm still happy because you know what? I'm working for myself. I can leave that house if I want to. I can go take a bath in the middle of the day if I want to. If my 83-year-old dad needs help, I can go help him real quick. Leaves options. Find what motivates you. What motivates me is the fact that I don't have to use an alarm clock to get up. I know where I came from, and I never want to go back there again. So you got to find that motivation that's going to make you enjoy listing, that t-shirt. Enjoy listing those 100 t-shirts, because every time you put up a t-shirt, that's $10 that could go in your pocket that nobody has any say about whatsoever except you. And there's no better feelings than that. Let's see. What else do I got? Let's see. Maybe I'll try to make notes, but this is probably going to be a long video. Something you can find anywhere. Let's see. Clothes, shoes, hats. And list those consistently. Like I said, the foundation is something that if you need to, you can go out, run to whatever store, whatever the case may be, where your foundation is, run in, run out, be done in an hour, come home, and you can have 10, 20, 50 new items in your store that day. That's what your foundation is all about. It's not about going out and finding that high dollar one. It's, well, if I do come across that high dollar one, bonus. That's all that's exactly what you have, the way you got to look at it when you're building your foundation. You're not going out searching for those high dollar ones, but when they fall in your lap while you're out getting your foundation, it's a beautiful feeling. You're like, yes. And that pays for your everything that you just bought. So list those items consistently. Build that base. Build a store that has 1,000 t-shirts in it, 2,000 t-shirts. I don't even know how many. I've been slacking on the t-shirt front because it's winter, so I've been concentrating more on jackets and hoodies and stuff. Yeah, t-shirts, I'm down to $1,600 or 1,600 items, t-shirts in my store right now. My hats probably really dropped. I was at 4,000 hats, 3,700 hats right now. Because you'll notice on things like that too, seasonal. Seasonal is a big thing. So if you got t-shirts as your foundation and hats as your foundation, like I do, or like I'm growing it to be, then you have to be prepared for the winter months where your t-shirt sales will drop, your hat sales will drop. Well, then what's that other item I can start pulling in to build my winter foundation, if you will? And for me, there's tons of it out there. Tons of them at the bin store, and that's hoodies and jackets. You can get hoodies and jackets everywhere. And the cool thing about it is everybody's going to be looking for that vintage Nike windbreaker with all these pops of color. Everybody's going to be looking for that. So you don't go out looking for that. You go looking for that pullover jacket that has BMW embroidered real small right here that everybody's passing up. Nobody thinks it's anything. You grab it, you list it, and you sell it for $25. Those are the items you're going to get. Those are the items you're going to look for. You're going to look for what I just had in sweatshirts. Like, I think on my sold video, I had two Fighting Illini sweatshirt and I think a hoodie, if I remember correctly, sell recently. Let me page through here. On my Instagram, it was a long sleeve t-shirt. Sold for $11.04. Mizzou hoodie sold for $10. I know there was another one. I guess I just passed it up and didn't pay attention close enough. There was another one too. But it's things that I could go out there and get at any time. Everybody else is going to be passing it up. It's not, there it is, Fighting Illini sweatshirt. Picked up at the bins, for under 50 cents into it, and it sold for $31.87. So you got to look for those items. They're not going to sell immediately, but the foundation items are not meant to sell immediately. Finding that collectible within the foundation, now, Redbird, those you want to sell immediately and get your money back. Everything else, it could sit in there 6 months and it ain't going to matter because it's all profit, not counting the fees. The list, but it's only 5 cents a month for that item. So if you get enough, if you buy in bulk enough, buy enough of those items, one of those items are going to be constantly sell, whether it's every other day or every day or whatever the case may be for you, depending on how many you have in your store. You're always going to be making money on those foundation items. So you're never going to be in the hole with your foundation items. So So that's my winter foundation is hoodies, sweatshirts, long sleeve t-shirts, jackets. And I grab the stuff that nobody else grabs. And when I find that, if I do go out and I'm grabbing this, all of a sudden, boom, oh, look, a Nike bright colored vintage Nike jacket, kick ass, 70 bucks out the door. That just paid for everything I just bought and then some. So you don't go looking for them. You gotta look for your foundation. I mean, people at the Goodwill outlet, I don't know how they perceive me. I know that people over there, they're the one person says, man, you make more money than everybody here put together. You know, so I kind of see how they perceive me a little bit. But then I'm sitting there, I'm dragging a cart, I'm pushing a cart. It's stacked over my head. I feel like a hoarder from hell. And I'm sitting there going, I wonder if these people really think I'm a freaking hoarder, which technically I guess you could. I mean, if you buy it to sell, is it technically hoarding? I mean, I don't know the definition of hoarding, but if stocking product in storage for future sales is hoarding, I guess I would be a hoarder. But I question like, these people think I'm just putting this stuff like in a room and it's just piling up, and I'm laying in a body of clothes with cockroaches running all over the place and food boxes, or you know what you typically see a hoarding house look like. So I kind of you know go, I hope people don't think that, you know, I'm like Looney Tune pushing these around. But then I hear things like, you know, people say that this person or that person's always talking about you and how good you do this and how good you do that, or whatever the case. Maybe that kind of reassures me, but you still get that weird feeling, you know. So, but I could go over there and on a short day, well, I guess actually on a long day, I don't really like spending too many hours over there because I get wore down. Like I said, I have a very, I get overwhelmed a lot. Whether it comes to, you know, seeing too much or hearing too much noises or even smells. Like I can't walk into a candle store because those smells just too overwhelming for me. I'm like, I can't handle it. Sensory overload. It's huge with me. And so when I go over to the Goodwill bins, I don't like to, if I'm over there 3 or 4 hours, man, I am drained. So I like to go in, hit it hard for 2 hours and get my ass out, get back home and start listing this item, because you're not making your money. You know, if you're not listing the items, you're not making no money. So you can be outsourcing every day, but if you're not getting it listed, you're just running yourself in a hole. You're not flipping stuff quick and making that money back, and you're going to start burying yourself over time, which I have. Trust me, when I first started the business 18 years ago, we took advantage of the business. Let me tell you, when I was making, you know, close to, you know, $500,000 a year selling on eBay and Amazon, I was living it up. I was buying cars, nice cars. I was taking trips, and it was all business. And still today, I've got probably 9-10 computers in this house all running at one time. Why? Because the business paid for it. You know, oh, we need a new TV, business expense. You know what? We need a new computer, business expense. Oh, the new iPhone came out, business expense. We're taking a trip. We're going on a vacation, but we're going on a business trip. So we go on vacation, hit some Goodwills, whatever the case may be along the way, buy some stuff for the business. Guess what? Business pays for the whole trip. That's the beauty about owning a business, is doing that. But I lived it up. We lived it up. We spent like crazy. And to get back to the other thing about not buying more than you can list type of thing, you got to keep up on the listing, is I've got 5 storage areas full of merchandise. Some of it go back to 15 years ago. That being said, the business has debt. I've got debt on this business. Thankfully, I've got inventory that shows for the debt, but 2 months ago, the business debt was at $150,000. Right now, I've got it down to, I just ran the numbers. Got it down to 86. So 2 years ago, I was at 150. 2 days ago, I'm at 86. So that's what I'm working on now. That's why I am just thrifting. I'm getting as much merchandise as I can, as cheap as I can, so I can get the higher profits, so I can get this debt gone. My goal is to, in 3-ish years, be totally debt free of the business, and all that money is going in my pockets. It's going in my track hawk I want to get. It's going in, and not make the same mistakes that I did at the beginning, because it's very easy to fall into taking money out of the business and enjoying the hell out of it, especially when you come from nothing. I mean, I came from nothing, and here I am. I've got this business I'm running. I'm doing, up to $500,000 a year, and I've got all this cash laying around. I mean, I was finding ways to hide money from myself. I mean, I would at any time have thousands and thousands of dollars in my pocket, and I was constantly buying merchandise, and I wasn't listing it. I bought so much merchandise. Like I said, I've got 5 storage areas still packed to the gills of merchandise, because one of the best things, yet can be your worst enemy, is buying in bulk. I love bulk. I love buying everything. I had a business within this business for a few years. I called it He Haul, Heehaul, He Haul, based on like old TV country TV show way back called He Haul. And I had a horse on it and everything. But what I did was, when I went out to hit yard sales, I'd give out the card and say, if you don't want to carry this stuff back into your house, I bring boxes this size. I pack all your stuff in the boxes, and I give you $1 to $3 per box, depending on the quality of stuff I put in that box. And I racked up merchandise. People were calling me constantly. Hey, every Saturday, I got several calls. I ain't packing this stuff up, so if you want it, come and get it. I'm over there packing boxes, throwing them in, paying out $10, $20, whatever the case may be. I even had a lady in a hoarding house call me. She had a big unit, one of those moving units outside of her house. She goes, I'm filling this thing every day. I'm getting my house cleaned out. I'm done hoarding. I'm getting over this. Come in, take whatever you want out of this unit. So I was over there every other day taking stuff out of this unit to resell. And at that time, I was also doing like yard sales. I would do a yard sale every other week, and I would run like dollar yard sales. And every weekend I would pull in, $2,000 to $5,000 just in dollar item yard sale stuff, because I was literally getting so much merchandise, and I wasn't keeping up on it. And another tip about keeping up on it is, when you go to, say you buy a lot of 100 t-shirts, whatever the case may be, but you're like, oh, I got to put up 100 t-shirts. First thing you got to do is process it. Now, when you process it, what you want to do is, what I do first is count the number of pieces, know how much money I got into it per item, stuff like that. So if I put up a $12 t-shirt and I know I've got less than 50 cents in it, somebody sends me an offer for $5, I don't care. Take it. I got 50 cents in it. Take it. I got my $5 back. Take it. One thing you need to do when you're processing it is learn what the cherry stuff is. Get the cherry stuff up first. That's going to be your higher dollar items, or your quickest moving items, so you can get that money back quick. When I say I've got 5 storage lockers, they're not cherry picked. I didn't do it all. I wasn't like that. I was more interested in buying than I was listing. And that's what caused the debt. And that's what caused the 5 storage units filled with merchandise. So learn from my mistake. Make sure you cherry pick your stuff. The good thing now, even though, you may say $86,000, that's a lot of debt. To me, that's nothing. I was at 150 2 years ago. All right. That may overwhelm some people, but it doesn't me, because, like I said, I was at my height when I was on Amazon both. I mean, there was some years I would do $500,000 in sales. So $86, I feel like I can get that paid off in a year if I stick to my plans. It ain't going to happen that quick. Maybe 2 at the least. But if I stick to my plans And the way I'm building everything now, uh, $86,000. That's going to be pocket change. That's the way I kind of view it. And maybe it's best I do view it that way so I don't feel overwhelmed by it. But like I said, I've been in work. I had not only did I have $150,000 debt on the business, I was driving a $60,000 vehicle. So that wasn't paid for in cash. I was paying every month on it. So technically it was probably closer to $200,000 in debt, 2 to 3 years ago. So when I started going through the whole huge depression thing, it lasts for about the last 2.5 years, not counting the last 6 months because I've been coming out of it, but the two years prior to that, 2.5, when my brother died and friend died, and 3 of my dogs died within a few months of each other. The friend who died did my business taxes, and it turned out that he was screwing them up badly, and I ended up having, to pay I think it was like $22,000 back taxes, just business alone, and like another 12 or something personal, which, I'm still trying to pull out of that. The business, thankfully, at the time this happened, I had some little excess, extra money in my account, because I had just sold a bunch of shoes because I was buying new shoes, clearance shoes from, clearance stores and Nike outlet stores and stuff like that. So I had a nice surplus of money. So I was able to pay the business taxes as they came in, which was good, but it was still frustrating because I wasn't able to pay down the business debt. Plus, on top of all the deaths, and then my dad getting sick after my brother died, and I had to move him in here with me to take care of him. And then my wife's health. If you've watched some of my past videos, you've seen all the crap that she still goes through to this day. Everything just fell on me at once. And so I hit this major depression, and the business slid because I wasn't making the changes that I needed to make. It's like the CD sales were going down, so my sales were going down, but yet I wasn't creating something to compensate for that, like I am now with the t-shirts and hats. So everything was going down. I was already mentally going down. The business going down, it just added more to that. I felt like I was just falling into a hole I was never going to get out of. So sometimes when I look back where I am today to where I was just say a year ago today, I sit there and go, who was that person? That was not me. I mean, that's how far down I let life beat me. I had never had that much tragedy and stress put on me at one time. So I kind of use that as motivation on top of where I came from, nothing. And then, I went from here to back down, and now I'm getting my ass back up is what I'm doing right now. But it was hard. But so when I see $86,000, that ain't shit. That ain't nothing. That's whatever stuff, But I think the best thing because of that is I've got the product to show for it. I mean, if I say I got $86,000 in business debt, I have an easy retail asking price, $1 million plus of inventory still in storage. So that's the way I look at it. I just got to get to it. I'm one person. And sure, I could hire somebody to take my pictures and whatever, but then you know what? That's somebody else coming in here. Somebody else I have to be responsible for. It's not about being responsible for them. It's about I don't like feeling like it's work. I don't want this to feel like it's work. So I'm trying to balance the two. when I was doing $500,000 a year, at one time I had I had 2 full-time employees and about 5 part-time employees. And I always, I felt I had to be up at a certain time because I had to be there. I had to be I had to be the leader. I couldn't just waltz in, 3 hours after everybody else was there. I couldn't do that. That's not me. That's not who I am. I'm going to lead by example, because if you don't, then your team just starts to fall down. And it just got to the point where it wasn't fun. I loved what I was doing, but I hated the responsibilities that came with it of having to get up at 9 o'clock every morning, and then I would feel like I had to work till 10 p.m. at night. And it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. It's nothing. You sit there, some people say, how do you list, yesterday I listed 300 items. Like, how do you do it? Well, I do it because I love to do it. I want to do it. Why? Because I don't want somebody else to have to take my pictures for me. I could literally probably double my income if I did just hire somebody at $12 an hour to take pictures for me for 5 hours a day. And maybe I'll get to that point, but I'm not there yet. But if I did, it would be somebody I know, somebody I'm real close with that I don't have to worry about, who can come and go as they please, don't care about what I'm doing. They could come at, work 12 to 5. I don't care. I'd rather that than wake my ass up at 9 o'clock if I don't want to get up at 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? So somebody who don't have a structure, who doesn't really need to, they're just doing it for the fun of it, or for the hell of it, or for some extra money, whatever the case may be. But I'm not there yet. And I don't know if I'll ever get there, just because I enjoy what I'm doing the way it is now. And I'm enjoying the challenge of building it. I'm enjoying the challenge of getting it to a $500,000 a year business with just me and my son shipping, and that's it. That's my goal. That's my thrill right now. And my first set of goal was $1,000 a day, so it's $30,000 a month for a year. So that was my tiers of my goals. It is November, but for the last, I guess, 30 days, within the last 30 days, so mid-October to mid-November, my average per day is brought up to about 900, but that's, a lot to do with the fourth quarter also. So my goal in listing now into the fourth quarter and, January through first quarter is always good too, because you have people spending money still in that spending money mode. Then they got taxes going to be coming in soon. So my goal is to, when I come out of March, still be able to get near that $1,000 a day in the summertime. That's like my first tier goal. So that's why I am hitting hard on my foundation products. Let me just go in here real quick and give you some numbers, I guess. Let's see. Since I haven't done my numbers for last month, I've been slacking. If you watch some of my videos, you see I write down all my numbers so that they're stuck in my head. And I break it down into categories. And I haven't done October's yet. I've just been so concentrating on getting stuff listed for fourth quarter, I haven't even paid attention. So October, let me type in t-shirts. So as you saw, I said before, I had how many listed? Let me get a calculator here. So I got 1,600 t-shirts listed. And like I said, I've been slacking on t-shirts because I've been zero. I don't think that's right. That's eBay issues. What? So now I can't get into archive to eBay? You're telling me I've sold no shirts for October? Come on, eBay. Stop being so goofy. It's so aggravating. Yesterday's sales were so pathetic. And then today, like, sales were so bad yesterday, I could tell something was wrong on eBay. And I had beat yesterday's sales by 12 noon today. So, all right. So, t-shirts in October, I sold, without shipping, I sold $2,441 worth of t-shirts. And that was 244 shirts. That's almost $10 a shirt. Yep, right at $10 a shirt is my average money in my pocket, not counting fees. So that's not counting shipping. That's $10 per shirt. And 99% of my shirts I get at the Goodwill outlet for under 50 cents into it. So that's less, less than $122 I turned into $2,441. That's the power of foundation. That's what you want to get, your foundation. My happy spot on foundation is going to be $5,000 in t-shirts. And let's see where I'm at with hats for last month. How many hats I got listed? Like 17 or 3,700 hats listed. What? I type in hat. Oh, I typed in hats. Sorry, I left an S on there. It's kind of gotta be so exact. All right, so hats. Hats, not counting shipping, was $2,000.90. 90. Whoops. Nope. Wrong again, James. And that is 279 hats. So that's $7.17 per hat in my pocket. Less than 50 cents into them. So 279. So less than $139 invested into $2,000 out. And like I said, that's going to be just any kind of hats, just generic hats to collectible trucker hats. And that's why the price per item is so low. It's $7 because I'm buying hats that nobody else is buying. I'm buying hats that you look at me and go, why are you buying that hat? That's why. If I can turn 50 cents into $7, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it all day, and I'm going to do it times 279 times a day, or a month, I should say. And that's the way you got to look at building a foundation. Now, you can always up your level, and say, hey, I want my foundation to be $10 per item, or what have you, the case may be, which is fine, but you gotta prepare yourself for that. The higher you go, the harder it's going to get, the longer it may take to find. So you got to kind of balance it, find a balance that works for you. Like I said, when I go through stuff, I can shave a second off anything and everything, and I do, just to make sure that, hey, I may only get $7 out of this hat, but I only got 50 cents into it, but I can list it quick and I can ship it quick. So it ain't gonna hurt me any. Now, if you're the type of person that has to really push to get 20 items up in a day, that's not for you. If you watch one of my videos, I can do 100 to 500 items a day just because of the system I have set up. And I do have that in another video where I've got it broken down into a system where take pictures, where this stuff it's been processed and waiting to be taken pictures of. Over here is stuff that I've taken pictures of and it's waiting to be listed. They're already in drafts. When I take my pictures, I use my phone because it's the quickest, easiest way. I don't have to waste time uploading pictures. It's there in the draft. All I do is click, 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 boom, save, done. And then also, if you haven't watched that video, I can change it up. If I feel like I just want to take pictures all day, I can do that. If I feel like I want to take 10 pictures of t-shirts and then list those 10 t-shirts, and then, what, I just want to do something else, take 10 pictures of hats, let's list those 10 hats. What else? Let's find 10 toys. 10 pictures of toys, list those toys, so you can break it up. So I created a system where you can, no matter what kind of day you're having, you can always get something done because you've got to stay consistent. So if you create a system in order to stay consistent, you're going to be more successful than not. You're not going to be one of these people. You're going to look at people who go, I only listed 30 today, or I pushed myself to list 30 today, yay. You're going to be like, I can list 30 items sitting on the toilet. What are you talking about? But, but you know what I mean? You look at it like, why, why, why I could list $30 and 30 items in less than an hour. What'd you do the rest of your 23 hours of your day? You know, you'll look at it like that. So you've got to create a process that works for you, and always redefine your processes. Like I said, every time you can shave a second off, shave that second off. As long as it's not going to hurt your sales. Like, I don't put in my shirts, I don't put chest measurements or length measurements. I just don't, because it would take forever. I would say 90% of the people who buy them don't care. They just buy them based on small, medium, large. There are some, like I got an email yesterday, I can't believe you don't put measurements in your listings. I can't believe that. It's ridiculous. And I don't respond to it because they don't understand. Because if I did that times, 1,700 t-shirts, I wouldn't have 1,700 t-shirts listed. I'd probably have 1,200 t-shirts listed. Would I sell more? Maybe a few, but is it worth it in the end? So shaving that time off of not putting those details in, I don't feel it's hurting me because of the volume I am doing. Now, if you only do, you're only listing, 2 t-shirts a day, you're trying to move those quick or trying to make it, then I could see, putting that information in there and it benefiting you. But if you're doing volume, you've got to shave off everything you can to make the process quicker for you. So that's what I had created with my listing system. You can go back and let me see the name of that video if you want to go look for it. I think I just listed something like how to list 100 to 500 items a day on eBay. Something to that effect. Oh, you can go look for it. It's down there somewhere. While you're down there, look at other videos too. Some of my old videos have no views. It's in there somewhere. But anyway, I can't even find it right now. I don't remember. It wasn't 9 months ago I made that video, was it? No. Maybe it was. Where is it now? Oh, here it is. How to stay motivated listing on eBay. List 100 to 500 items a day. So if you want to go look for that video, I break down my process and how I list items, how I take pictures and make it simple, because you don't want to get to the point where you're like, I don't feel like doing this, because it's just going to hurt you. And if you're trying to do this full time, you can't have that attitude. So you've got to change things up. You have to create a process that's going to work no matter what mood you're in. If I want to go out thrifting all day, I can, but I've got a process to where with my foundation stuff, if I just want to go out for an hour, spend $100, have a cart full, I can. If I want to take pictures all day, I can. If I want to just list all day, I can, because I took pictures all day the other day. If I want to just mix it up and do both, I can. So you can always change it up so it never feels like it's stagnant or stale. You're always, depending on your mood. I think a lot of people are like that, and you just got to learn how to break your mold. Basically, you got to learn how to think outside the box, and you've got to know yourself. I think that's the biggest thing. If you know how yourself works, you can find solutions to make yourself work better, more efficiently, and you can get more out of yourself. Just like if you were running a team of people, you would be using strong points. This person's strong at this person's strong at that. Well, when you're only relying on yourself, you have to take the strong points and go, okay, I know I can't sit here and take 100 pictures every day and list 100 items every day without getting bored as hell. So how can I change that up? Well, I can take 500 pictures today if I wanted to and not list a damn thing. I might list a couple just to keep that algorithm thing on eBay weird, where it and then that too you can also do if you're processing the stuff, taking the pictures at the same time. you can go, okay, I know this item is a high dollar item. I'm putting this one up right now. Then go back to taking your pictures. Oh, this item should move quick. Let me go list that real quick. Okay, let's get back to taking pictures. And that's another way to get your money back quick on, say, a lot you just bought. So we're coming up on 1 hour on this video, so I'm going to stop it here. The next one I'll get into, let's see if I missed anything here. Maybe I'll get into like how to source, different places you can source, and maybe things of how to build how to build off of that foundation, if you will. Different avenues you can take to build the windows and the doors and the roof and everything else you need to build your business. So I'll get into that, and I'll get into maybe some listing ideas for you, and I'll share some, like how I list on international eBay sites. I sell on I think 6 international eBay sites. The company I use for that, what it costs me, all that kind of stuff. So I'll get into all that next video. If you made it through this video, please, I thank you. First off, thank you. Please hit like if anything in here can help you, it helped you in any way. Please hit like, comment anything you want. Share this video if you like. I'm almost back to monetization. I think I got like 600 view hours to go. So if I can get 600 people to watch this video all the way through, cha-ching, I'm back on the money. Ain't gonna be very much since I don't give that many views, but every little bit something. You got to start somewhere when you're rebuilding. So I'm teaching you how to build, so help me build my YouTube, if you will. That's all I ask in return. If anything helped you and it's going to help you build your eBay or be more successful in any way whatsoever, please help me build my YouTube. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And it costs nothing. It costs nothing to do that. So I totally would really extremely appreciate it. Any help to get my views up and get a little bit more income coming in so I can get my medical debt paid off, my wife's medical debt paid off, and what have you. So, but I love building this stuff. I love building. I'm a Lego kid. I've always loved Legos. I didn't have Legos when I was a kid, but I've always loved Legos. I used to trade for Legos. I couldn't afford Legos, so stuff I'd find in the dumpster, I'd trade kids. Like, yeah, I got this cool thing. You want to trade your box of Legos you don't play with? Okay. That's how I got my Legos as a kid. So I love building my store. I love cutting a second off here. I love building the foundation and see how to build around it. And now that I'm back on YouTube, building this thing up, and I want to make it bigger than it was before. When I was doing just shoe videos, I think my best months were I was pulling in like $200 a month, which would only buy one pair of shoes that month, but I want to get bigger than that this time. So we'll see how that goes. I love the thrill of the trying to build something. So from all aspects of life. So thanks everybody. Appreciate it. And I don't know what I'm going to call this yet. So I'll try to call it something similar so that when each episode comes out, you can see that it's a relation to this video, if you will. So thanks everybody, and thanks for watching. Later.